First of all, I wanted to thank our God, Jesus Christ. Thank you very much.
Wants to close it, and he does! Lomachenko's a champion again! Knockout victory!
Hey Ringsiders, what's going on? This is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, and welcome back to Ringside Stories. Or if you're new, we make content regarding boxing through many documentaries, backstories, post-fight reviews, and much more. So if you enjoy that type of content, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. Thanks so much for your support in advance. Vasiliy Lomachenko captures the vacant IBF lightweight world title, beating former unified world titleist George Kambosos Jr. in the 11th round in a sold-out RAC arena in Perth, Australia. Ferocious gave a valiant effort, but fell short all night long, losing pretty much every single round before getting stopped in the 11th. Let's discuss 5 takeaways of Lomachenko versus Kambosos. Number 1, body shot.
And there we go. Body shot scores the knockdown in the 11th.
The accumulation and pressure of Vasiliy Lomachenko was too much for George Kambosos, to a point that something had to give. A well-placed shot is what would be the start of the end for George Ferocious Kambosos.
Everything he did, we was prepared for this, and I saw this during the fight, and I need to be just adjust round by round, and I feel during the fight, I feel what I can finish him.
Yeah, look, he's a true champion. You know, he's a legend of the sport, and I give him the utmost respect. I never disrespected him. I always gave him the respect, and we knew what we were coming up against. But I tried my best. I had the best preparation. I gave everything in training camp, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough today. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, this is one of the best fighters in history. You know, so I'm not ashamed. I wanted to finish that fight on my feet. I really did. I wanted to finish the rounds like I always do. But there's no shame in losing to a man like Lomachenko, and it is what it is. I gave him my best.
This was the first loss by stoppage for George Kambosos Jr. and also the first stoppage win for Vasiliy Lomachenko since his 9th round TKO victory over Japanese Masayoshi Nakatani in June of 2021.
Lomachenko, and you said at this weight class it's very difficult. How did you make him return tonight?
But it looks like knockout, not Lomachenko. But you know, we train hard for this moment. I want to say big thank you to my opponent. He is a strong man, he is a true warrior. And of course I want to say big thank you to our God Jesus Christ, to my team, Egis, my manager, Andrei, my father, Ras.
Number 2. The Matrix is back. Vasiliy Lomachenko was as much the Matrix as ever before, coming off the undisputed fight against Devin the Dream Haney, which was Loma's goal in pro boxing, and in my opinion taken away from him. Lomachenko bounced back against a fighter whose style, to be honest, was tailor-made for him. As soon as George Kambosos backed up, Loma got his man exactly where he wanted him. The 3-weight world champion paced himself well, and even up until the stoppage, Vasiliy Lomachenko wasn't fully committing, wary of Kambosos' power, which kept Loma at a distance, using his angles, footwork, finding home for his jab and left straight. And someone as thin-skinned as George Kambosos Jr. gets bruised and bloodied up fast, which even if this fight would have gone the distance, would not have gone down well for the hometown Aussie fighter.
Lomachenko always mentally pressures very well. You see, he kind of cuts off the ring, puts you in tough spots, puts you in tough situations. Then little by little, as Lomachenko started increasing the pressure, increasing the pace, George was running more and more out of ideas, and the attack started to become more and more consistent. George would occasionally land the body shot. I felt like that was a big part of the plan. Respond with any of Lomachenko's attacks in kind with body shots. You know, anytime Lomachenko got close early on, George attacked the body right away. But he never built on top of that. He never really created a lot himself. And of course, Lomachenko, being on the level that he's on, eventually created and built up on top of it more and more, and got the eventual stoppage. Nothing was really a surprise. You know, at lightweight he hasn't had a stoppage in a while, so it was also sort of statement for him. But at the same time, it's also against a guy who's some levels below what he's been fighting since he got to the lightweight division.
Number 3, Kambosos, C-level fighter. Props to Vasiliy Lomachenko, beating a former unified world titleist, and props to George Kambosos Jr. for hanging in the fight for as long as it lasted. That said, that's pretty much what kept Ferocious in the Loma fight: determination and heart. Not only did Kambosos get pieced up all night long, visibly by the marks on his face, meaning George Kambosos had zero answers for Loma's attacks. George also did not really have any offense apart from some decent body shots he landed. Can we say the jury is in? George Kambosos Jr. is a good fighter, but not great, who made the most out of an opportunity at the end of 2021. The writings were on the wall. One fight back, George Kambosos Jr. struggled with Maxi Hughes, came away with the victory, although most objective observers, yours truly included, believed Hughes got hard done by the judges. Maxi Hughes, who recently got stopped by lightweight contender William Cepeda, is European level at best, and that fight proved that George Kambosos Jr. not only struggles with southpaws, but also with good boxers who are rangy, similar to Devin Haney, guys who give angles like Vasiliy Lomachenko. Lomachenko versus Kambosos proves that if George Kambosos Jr. takes on any of the top lightweights, at the moment he'll have the short end of the stick once more. Number 4, end of the road. Where does George Kambosos Jr. go from here? He made quite the name for himself, becoming unified world titleist, beating Teofimo Lopez in November of 2021 on the TakeOver's worst night of his pro career, and banked on 2 Devin Haney fights for the undisputed lightweight world championship, which gave George Kambosos 2 lofty paydays. Kambosos' purse for the first Haney fight, for example, was $10 million US, taking a 70% split. In the rematch, the Aussie pocketed a near $8 million. Mind you, these purses exclude sponsorships. And so, although Devin Haney is far from a draw, although he lost to Devin Haney by wide margins, falling short of becoming the undisputed world champion twice, George Kambosos Jr. made the most out of that situation.
That punch changed everything. He stamped his authority on that fight, as if to say, no, Teofimo, not tonight.
Leading up to his big break in November of 2021, Kambosos fought some decent guys, including 2 former world titleists in Mickey Bay and Lee Selby. But it was the Teofimo Lopez fight that changed George Kambosos' life and that of his family. Now, I respect George Kambosos, he's a warrior. However, as a fighter, Ferocious is limited. He couldn't get to Devin Haney, got outskilled, outsmarted, and outboxed twice, struggled even in his previous fight against Maxi Hughes, who again, without any disrespect, isn't near world level, and as mentioned earlier against Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos dealt with a fighter who was having all sorts of issues, including physical issues during the fight, which, considering his top wins prior and after the Kambosos fight, it's safe to say Teofimo Lopez had an off night. And now, stepping up against Vasiliy Lomachenko, George Kambosos Jr. looked as if he did not belong. How will Kambosos fare against the other top lightweight contenders or champions? Not sure if George Kambosos, especially with the money he has made, the family he has, plus the wear and tear on his body, has what it takes to go through more grueling training camps to fight guys on the level of a Vasiliy Lomachenko. How long has Kambosos still left in the game? Number 5. Next for Vasiliy Lomachenko. As for the new IBF 135-pound champion of the world, there are opportunities to unify the division. Shakur Stevenson, who holds the WBC world title at lightweight, the winner of the battle between 2 undefeated fighters, Frank Martin and WBA champ Gervonta Tank Davis. Does Lomachenko still have the desire to become the undisputed world champion at lightweight? Now, let's not get to quick conclusions. Vasiliy Lomachenko made his return to the ring, bouncing back from the Devin Haney fight successfully. Loma was in full effect, showing angles, speed, power, and fantastic footwork, getting George Kambosos Jr. trapped inside the matrix and being the first to ever stop the former unified world titleist in his pro career. That said, this is George Kambosos Jr. we're speaking of, whose style was tailor-made for Vasiliy Lomachenko. and who, apart from the Teofimo Lopez fight, fell short every time he stepped up. Lomachenko looked strong and didn't look old, even though he didn't really get tested. What if Lomachenko steps up against the best the 135-pound division has to offer?
Well, it was a brilliant performance, and for me it was, having seen his first professional fight, it was almost like turning back the clock, because this was a vintage Loma performance. I really believe that if he's going to continue in the sport, that he is going to be even more dominant in the next few fights that he has.
Hats off to Vasiliy Lomachenko for putting in this great performance on foreign soil against a former world titleist who was determined, showed a lot of heart, and respect to George Kambosos Jr., who is a true warrior. He actually stepped into the ring with one of the best in the division and who wanted to continue fighting even though he was hurt badly. What are your thoughts on Lomachenko versus Kambosos, and what do you think is next for both George Kambosos Jr. and Vasiliy Lomachenko? Let us know in the comments below. If you like content like this and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit the notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. It helps out the channel a lot, i.e. inspire me to make more quality content for y'all. Now, if you've done that already, you're amazing. We already know that you are the true undisputed world champion. Till next time, Ringsiders, this is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer with Ringside Stories. Thanks for watching, and have a legendary day.